everyone. Welcome to our webinar today. We very much hope that this is going to be a valuable experience for you. We hope that this webinar in and of itself provides actually significant value for you in your career. Just to introduce it, this webinar is part of the leadership component, which is in turn part of this new media certificate that we have. We very much hope at the end of the session, or perhaps during it, that you'll visit our website, that you'll ask us questions and download some of the material that we're going to go through. Now, I'm here to introduce really the leadership part of this overall certificate. So if you enroll in the leadership course, then these are the objectives that we'll make sure that we hit. They have to do with managing in a creative environment, right? That can be very challenging. When you manage for results, often the people who are more creative decide that you are, at best, a threat. So how do you get creative people on your side and still manage for excellence? That can be a challenge. Only a few people have figured it out. Now, just to take a step back, what makes this course different from a lot of the material, or a lot of the leadership material that's available in various places? What we have made an attempt to do here at USC over the last many years is to look at people who are unusually successful, the top 1 or 2%, the high performers, the high achievers in their fields, not just the individual achievers, but the people who've been able to create great teams, great organizations, great companies. And then focus on what they do in order that we can reverse engineer it. So what you get as a takeaway are steps that, if implemented, will make you more like one of those high performers. So here's the challenge. What a lot of people do is they find this 1 or 2%, and they sit down with them, and they ask, what makes you such a great performer? What is it you do that other people don't do? And almost invariably, the people themselves are not able to explain what they do that's different. And you hear things like, well, I follow my passion. Okay, so you should follow your passion. Well, how do I actually do that? That's not all that helpful. Or you'll get people saying, I just love those people who I'm leading. So you should love the people you lead. Again, that's not practical, useful advice, right? So we spend time observing what people do and finding the very specific behaviors that make them different, that make them exceptional performers, and then teach that in a way that you can put that into practice right away. So in this first bullet, having to do with managing in a creative environment, there are actually a number of steps that are counterintuitive. When you first hear them, they don't make sense. It seems like you should, in fact, do the opposite. But we found that when people implement these, they are then able to manage in a creative environment, to get the creative folks on board, to get the business people involved, all on the same page moving forward in a very, very powerful way. We're also going to take a look at power. How do you build it? How do you use it? How do you lose it? There's a good use of power, what we call power with a big P, and then there's power with a little p, which is what people try to amass and often use as a weapon against other people. Now, what's the problem in doing that? It destroys your legacy, among other things, and makes you someone that other people simply don't want to follow. So we will show you systematically how to build power, how to build influence, and then to use them for your benefit and the benefit of those that you lead. We're going to take a look at politics. This is a subject that is not well understood at all. Why are people political? What makes this industry so much more political than a lot of other industries? Well, what is it by its nature? What is it that drives some people to be political? Do you need to be political? Some people decide that they'll simply step out of the politics game and ignore it. Well, you do that to your peril. So we show you exactly what you need to do and the kind of politics to stay away from, because they can derail you and they can derail the success of the people that you lead. Finally, we're going to take a look at leading change while building trust. Now, leading change is fairly easy to do. Here's how you do it. You threaten people. If you don't do this, you are fired. If you don't do this, something bad will happen to you, like we'll cut your pay or we'll give you a bad job assignment. So to build trust, to lead change, as you also build trust, is a very difficult combination. We're going to show you how to do them both at the same time, so that as you do one, building trust, leading change happens, and as you lead change, trust also happens. That sets you up for long-term success, and that's gold. Most people can lead change for a little bit of time as they ultimately end their own career because they betray trust and betray the goodwill of others. So the whole point of this is to set you up as a leader for the long term. So what we're going to focus on today is not these 4 objectives, because we've only got a few minutes with you. We want to take you deep into one concept, Now, this concept has to do with reinventing yourself. And what does that mean? Well, that means exactly what it says, that you become a different person, that you take on a different set of skills, that you redefine your role. Perhaps you go from being a technical person to a creative person. Realize that sounds like a big change. That is all very possible. I wouldn't say it's easy, but it is doable if you follow the steps that are in this webinar. Now, where does this material come from? I just have to give credit. It comes from a book. I was one of the co-authors. John King was another of the co-authors, and Haley Fisher-Wright. The book is called Tribal Leadership, and it's a book that really lays out, among other things, the principles for what we're about to go through here today. And I really want to thank John and Haley. This was a team effort to bring all of this material to you. It is material that is uniquely available not only in this webinar, but in this leadership course. And in the leadership course, we take it far deeper than we have time to do here today. So, what reinventing yourself has to do is not sitting in a cave and imagining the kind of person that you should be. Now, that may be a useful activity. From a business perspective, that's not how it's done. Reinventing yourself is something that is done thoughtfully, that is done in real time, in action with other people. Now, it turns out there are 4 issues that you need to deal with in reinventing yourself. 4 may sound like a lot, but it's only 4. It's not 10, it's not 20, it's not 100. It's really 4 things. The other issue about reinventing yourself is it is not done forever. Okay? The time horizon is not until you die or until you retire. The time horizon on reinventing yourself is short term. Okay? Within a very small period of time, 90 days, 100 days, people are able to reinvent themselves, and they're able to reinvent the groups that they lead in order to do remarkable things. That's what we're going to show you how to do here today. So we're going to pull the time horizon to a very narrow period of time, and by the end of this webinar, you will know how to reinvent yourself over the next 90 or 100 days, to the point that people who know you and have known you for a long time may look at you and say, what are you doing differently? You know, did you get your hair cut? What are you doing? Whatever it is, it's working. Because I see you getting results you weren't able to get. You seem happier. You seem more satisfied. I don't know what it is, but if it's something you're putting in your coffee, can I have some too? That is actually a very common thing that people hear when they go through this reinvention process. So, if I can have your attention, your focused attention, for about the next 5 minutes, I'll show you how the reinvention process works. And then we are going to go through it together so that by the time you're done with the webinar, you will have actually gone through the process. Again, if you have any comments along the way, please email us at the website that's at the bottom of the screen and a number of the slides. If you want to download the materials so that you can play with this on your computer, print it out, do it with a pen and pencil, again, all of that is available from the website. So here we go. Reinventing yourself has to do with creating what we call a micro strategy. Now think about that. Strategy sounds big. Micro is obviously very small. We're talking about a big change, a change to your personal strategy that is going to happen in a small period of time. Okay? So the key to reinvention is a micro strategy. Now, there's something I'll show you later that is going to put this micro strategy on booster rockets. Okay? But that comes later.